Okay, welcome to Nested Loops. I don't know what week this is, but Diego's doing chapters 9 and 10, so I will turn it over to Diego. Who will need,
Actually, there is the chapter 8.
oh, it's chapter 8? Okay.
Let me see. Share this. Save and go. Ooh.
Paperless world on the paper theme.
All right. Which one do you see? Do you see my presentation or my other one?
I see your thing with the two screens, chapter 8 and the next.
All right. That's fine. Huh?
Yes.
All right. I messed it up. It's supposed to say the paperless office.
Mm.
So, chapter 8 talks about how in 1975, if you were to look at pretty much everything, everything was like very paper heavy, and all the careers you could dream of had seemed like it to be very paper driven. So in 1975, there were different articles that were dreaming of a paperless world, which is kind of fun because now we're dreaming of a screenless world, right? Or UI-less world, because now everything is screens, everything is UIs. So we want to get away from that. But in 1975, everything was paper and printed and all that kind of stuff. And the office of the future, where this is the guy from Zero Park talking. I'll be able to grab document from my files on the screen by pressing a button, and I can get my email or any messages. And I don't know how much hard copy I want in this world, right? Later there was a different article on was like Newsweek or something like that, entitled "Towards a Paperless World." And they're talking about reading your emails, video conferencing, faxing, all from a computer without paper. And at the same time, there was an essay newsletter where they talk about completely the opposite, right? And the feeling of this to me is a little bit closer to Ford, idea when he said if you were to ask people what they wanted, they would ask for faster horses rather than a car. And this to me has a little bit of the same vibe. Because pretty much but the Cryptolog was an NSA internal newsletter in 1983, and there was one article about paper and how everybody talks about this paperless world, the office of the future, and they were saying we don't see that happening, at least not in around the NSA. Like the new technology does not have to replace the old. It sometimes finds its niche alongside the old. Office automation seems to be a machine to write down on paper what used to be written down by some other method on paper. And also there was all the naysayers that were like, well, how are you gonna replace napkins? How are you gonna put your nose or toilet paper or anything else? You need paper, so paper is long live paper. It's never gonna go away. And if you were to look at the paper usage, even though computer existed and everything was started becoming computer driven, paper usage increased consistently until the year 2000. Now, this might be one of the things that contributed. I'm not sure. Might be like a false causation relation, right? People start saying, please consider the environment before printing. You could see that more and more often. in application and websites, and then paper usage went down constantly from 2001 and up to this day. Now, all of that could be just because it took a while for people to get used to read on screens. Like, everybody still prefers to read on paper. Like, that's why people still buy books, because they like the tactile feeling of the books rather than just have a Kindle. People's and the different formats. Some people actually like the smell. Some people, we had people that we work with. They used to even print out code, right? So
He should have been at the NSA.
right, but there's something like it's a. I think maybe the preconceived environment before printing didn't have as much to do with the decrease of usage. It probably brought some. We always joke about printing is killing trees, so a little more awareness for sure. But I think a lot of it has to do with people getting used to reading on screen. Also, the screens have gotten so much better than they used to. Like, screens from the 80s, the resolution was low, you couldn't see a lot on it, and everything looked kind of crappy. Like, just think about it, like, anti-aliasing on Windows wasn't, something common until recently, so for the last 5 years or so. All right. So paper got replaced by screens, and water everywhere. It's got screens everywhere. We got screens on phones, on watches, car, refrigerator, on thermostats. There are like very, very few appliances nowadays they don't have a screen. Everything is connected, and we like screens. And to the point where, kids nowadays, you spend 2 hours a day. I would say more than that. Age 8 to 18, 7.5 hours a day in front of screens. It's quite accurate. Adults, 8.5. I know I spend more time than that. And there's a direct relation between the social interaction and electronic media use, where social interaction have been going down as electronic media use goes up. And one actually closes the chapter with, the best result for any technology is to solve meaningful problem in impactful ways. And especially it talks about the best design reduces work, the best computer is not seeing, the best interaction is natural, the best interface is not interface. So how do we go there? So now that we know that we went from lots of paper, and we just replaced the paper with screens. But we pretty much are doing the same thing the way we've been doing it before. It's just a different medium. Even though we now have many different new technology at our disposal. So principle 1, embrace typical processes instead of screen. And this is chapter, I think this is supposed to say chapter 9, back pocket apps. So the author opens the chapter with device addiction, and it makes this case like a little bit of a mystery. This guy was pretty much experiencing phantom ringing. And phantom ringing can happen in multiple, somebody dropped something. Phantom ringing multiple ways. You can have the sensation of a phone vibrating. You can hear a phone ringing, even when there is no phone vibrating or there is no phone ringing. You're just experiencing an error in perception. Leonardo da Vinci was the first one to record the psychological state of apophenia and error perception called pareidolia, which is pretty much you hear something and you pretty much associate it with the most common thing that you're familiar with. And the most common thing nowadays is your phone ringing, you get some kind of notification or something or like that. Sorry, I got distracted for a second. And in general, like in a way, like all of this happens because smartphones crave to be outside of our pockets. Like we have many different apps installed on our phones that are all geared at interrupting our days and letting us know. Like Facebook sends a notification, but also creates almost a vicious cycle of notification. And the example that they make is like your birthday. So it's your birthday, and people that know about your birthday might send you a message on happy birthday. People that don't know that it's your birthday, they get themselves a notification and to take out the phone, look, oh, your friend has a birthday, so they get to send you happy birthday wishes over and over and over. So now people that were not going to wish you happy birthday, they got themselves a notification, and they're saying you as well a notification to which you are going to reply, like, whatever, which in turn is going to send them another notification telling them, hey, this guy liked your happy birthday wishes. And the typical day for a smartphone looks pretty much like this. Unplug your smartphone from the charger, put it in your purse or pocket, and in general, like for 156 times a day, you take it out to use the interface for a moment, and then you put it back in your pocket or purse. And the author did this like a very painfully by writing the one line hundreds of times. And eventually you do this until it's the end of the day or it's time to charge the phone, because all the notification, all the vibration have completely used up all your battery. Or it's time for you to recharge your own battery and go to sleep. So the phone is generally poorly designed in a way. There are a lot of issues with it, meaning that you are, well, the company that makes the phone wants to make it like prettier and lighter and thinner and all of that. But with the thinner, lighter, and everything, it also becomes much more delicate. I mean, there are phones that you can actually bend or twist with your hand without using too much force. Dropping it, getting wet, sweaty hand, and, it becomes like semi-unusable. You need to dry them up. You really need to take really good care. And the thing is, like, again, as they're more shiny and slick, they also get very slippery. And over here, say 23% of all iPhone owners have a broken screen. And it's so common that there's an app for that called Spider-Man, which fakes, makes it look like your screen is broken. So, actually, the solution for everybody is to have a case. I'm gonna show, if I can. Hold on. How do I access? I want to show My case. This is a gigantic case because replacing the glass is like $80 or so, right? So I don't get any of the tactile experience. Like this is a very nice phone that when you're holding your hand, like it feels very nice. It feels very polished and everything, like all the rounded edges and everything. But it's literally like trying to hold on to like a bar of wet soap, right? And it's like super slippery. And the only time that I dropped it, there wasn't in the case. No, actually, no, there was a case on it. It landed flat on the asphalt and cracked the screen. So I ended up getting a bigger case with the front protector and everything. Just so I wouldn't spend another $80 or $100 to.
You know, I agree. I never have a phone without a case. But is it because we're klutzes?
No, I mean, I really think, I mean, if you go like okay, selling, my kids were looking at my, all the iPhone. I still have my iPhones like in the box, all the old ones.
Yeah.
So I have an iPhone 1, an iPod Touch, like the first version, iPhone 4, this, and some other iPhone like that because somebody else became unusable. And the iPhone 1, the back was actually grippy. Like that would not slip out your hand. This one, with a completely metal back casing, is very slippery. Very, very slippery. Like I tried to use it without a case, and it would like slip out of my hand constantly.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, screw this. Like after 2 days, I was like, and by the way, it's the only phone that actually ever had a crack on. Like I never broke a phone before this one. Anyway, that's my thing. I think a lot of it is like poor design. Maybe I wouldn't go as far as like they do on purpose to make it super slippery, just so they, the idea is like you get a new phone every year anyway of these devices.
I'm wondering what percentage don't use phones. I wonder what percentage don't use phone cases. Because I mentioned something on Twitter, and Charlie Nutter said to me, he said, "Hey, I've never used a case." And I go, "I guess I'm a clod then, because." And the one time you don't have the case, you drop it and it hits the end and it breaks the thing. So like, thank goodness.
Well, there's a lot of people that would rather break their phone and actually go with the phone screen broken than not have the tactile experience.
It's like my phone. My phone is like gorgeous, but it's like a thumbprint magnet out of the case.
Mm-hmm.
It's like here. So I have the clear one. So
right.
You can kind of see it, but you can sort of see where it's shiny. The actual thing is shiny. This is kind of good, except when of course I have my magnet thing there. The phone is gorgeous, but I never touch it. And if I did, it'd be like Fingerprint City. And I go, what good is a gorgeous phone that's immediately made ugly? And it is slippery. So.
All right, I'm gonna keep going.
Okay.
So the other part is because of all this notification, the battery life is quite often too short. And of course, there was an article on if your battery is too short, no problem. There's an app for that, and Battery Doctor to the rescue. So the app is called Battery Doctor. It monitors how much. And by the way, running Battery Doctor will use battery to detect your battery usage. And again, this is another case of screen-based thinking. Also, going back to too many notification, it created like a movement for going screenless. So people pay to go on digital detox. The example is Camp Grounded, which is actually run by a company called Digital Detox, where they take all electronics away from you, so that you can kind of like enjoy going to camp without without phone, without distractions, and kind of, you do like a typical summer camps activities, but without phones, without stuff. And here in Connecticut, there's one actually in Kent. This is very, very popular. Like I've met quite a few people that go and do it, which is like just put the phone away.
Kind of crazy.
Huh?
Kind of crazy.
It's a little crazy, but I personally get the appeal of going summer camping as an adult,
Right.
because you get to do stuff that you normally wouldn't do, and you also get to meet people that are kind of in the same kind of interest.
Yeah.
Right? So like again, just quickly going screenless, there was an app called Move, which was almost the UI-less. So the way they use this Move app is like by keeping your phone in your back pocket. And this is kind of like an idea of actually you don't use any extra wearable devices, Fitbit or not. You put it, you use the oscillators and the sensors in the phones to detect, running, walking, squats, and all this stuff. Unfortunately, it takes all the data and puts a GUI on it. And the other thing, we can do a little better than to do that. Because like, the data, you have to search it, and then, you spend time just looking at all these data, which might not be very useful. And my thought was like, yeah, wouldn't like a key ring also work better than this? But I guess there would be similar to a key fob or a pedometer or something like that. And one more thing that you have to have here. So this is screenless. Let's go with keyless. And here it talks about people misplace on average 9 items a day. And the most frustrating thing being keys, house keys. So enter Lockitron. And the first approach in Lockitron was to have, of course, a screen approach. To have like an iPhone app or some mobile app that you download on your phone and see how easy it is. You walk up to your apartment, you pull up your smartphone, you wake up the phone, you slide to log, enter your passcode, exit the last open app, last open group. I don't know if the iPhone that works. Swipe to try to find your the door opening app. Tap the icon. Wait for the app to load. Hopefully you have an internet connection. Tap the unlock button, and then you can finally open your apartment door. This sounds like super easy, right? It's so fantastic. And
But ironically, we're so used to that.
Right. Yeah. Well, I'm not used to that. like I'm going kind of through this process, and everything that I found kind of works like this, and I think it sucks. So I'm looking for something better. So Lockitron approach number 2 is by using the Bluetooth on your phone and on the device, on the lock. Actually, it detects when you're nearby, and as you get closer, unlocks the door for you. And you just, and you walk away, it locks it. So that is pretty much a UI-less, like transparent way of doing it, which is way less steps than what we discussed before with that. But like that's why I'm not a fan of most things that require an app, yet another app for you to use it for if you want like a smart home scenario. So then it goes into self-checkout. how can we make the checkout process better? Let's have people check out themselves. So screens and checkout. Let's not explain at all how they're supposed to use them, and let's have people train themselves. And this actually resulted, on average, on accidental or intentional household theft of about $400 a year per customer. In Britain, like a lot of company, they run like ask people how how they don't like it, and pretty much what's happening, like, nobody really likes it. A lot of people end up accidentally stealing because generally they cannot find the item that they're trying to enter. I'm also guilty of this because, and sometimes I call people trying to find, because I cannot find the produce that I'm trying to check out at Stop and Shop. And the people that come over do the same thing themselves. They cannot find it. So sometimes like my organic whatever, they type something else, like it's not organic and it's cheaper. So okay, I guess there's no way. And this is partially, I think, bad UI and bad experience in general. And pretty much like everybody thinks the humans are less like, they're much more much friendlier. They're helpful, while a self checkout really doesn't work. And when McDonald's saw like their sales go down, they say, you know what we can do? We can go screen first and have people order their food. Then they will solve our sales problem. And McDonald's, Taco Bell, and other companies did the same thing. They pretty much put something about the self checkout. One of the companies actually removed the self checkout. I don't remember the name. Some people still use it. Some other like decided, that's too much of a loss. But anyway, so McDonald's, Taco Bell, and another company decided to put screens so people can order themselves. Of course, I went through this experience myself at some local restaurant. I don't know if it was TGI Friday or something like that. And the thing that I thought is you don't get the upsell. Meaning, I used to be a waiter, and I could drive more sales than people buying themselves, right? Like if you go and you do it screen first, and people do like their own ordering, they're going to be, first of all, they're not going to know specials. They're not going to know about what's good or not good at the restaurant, and chances are they're not going to try something that they might like better. So I think overall it's not a great way of approaching it from this standpoint.
I gotta say,
Was it Bob Dorsey? What's his name?
Even ordering online,
From Twitter,
sometimes it
Crash
can be, but
a company called Square.
I've seen so much.
Square Wallet, which went experience
I don't think
first.
Diego can hear.
What was that? They analyze your order history, but after like setting it up, you really didn't have to do much about it. And one other thing was functionality was called auto tab. With auto tab turned on, as you enter a store, let's say Starbucks, it will automate that your phone will automatically order your typical order at Starbucks. Now, I see a lot of problems with that, but as a way to do a UI-less experience first application, I think it's along in the right direction. because like I do order almost all the time the same thing, so it would like solve me a little bit of a headache. One other thing that was different between Square Wallet and everybody else, like, was that you never had to take out your phone out of your pocket. So your Square Wallet, so Master Pay, PayPass, Chase Blink System, what's, Express Pay is by, how do you put it? No, American Express, Google Wallet, Apple Pay, all require you to take something out of your pocket, whether it's a card, a key fob, or your phone and show something. They all like require you to take something out, and some training from customer service or cashier. While Store Wallet didn't need for you to take stuff out, but it still needed some training from at the point of sale. So as a product didn't go well, apparently. Actually, like a poor product launch and training caused Wallet to fail, especially at Starbucks. But it actually, for the authors, the author tab was a good moment, an important moment in this movement of UI-less effort. All right. Now for the next chapter, I do not have all the slides, so at some point I'm going to have to stop showing slides.
Diego.
All right.
Can you hear
So, chapter 10, lazy rectangles.
Andrew, get Diego's attention. I don't think he can hear us.
Yep. Oh, what happened?
Can you hear us? Can you hear me now?
No.
No, something's wrong with Diego's audio. Can you hear us now?
Yeah, I can hear you fine, but David can't.
Let me accent.
Dave.
Oh, it looks like. Sorry, I can't do that. I know what that is.
Can you hear me now?
We could always hear you. Could you hear us?
I couldn't hear you.
Yeah, I don't know. I think maybe Siri was sucking all the sound out of it. Yeah, we were trying to talk on the restaurant part.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because I was starting to say I order a fair amount. I wouldn't say I guess once I tried to do Taco Bell online, figured I'd save some time and just show up and get it. It took me so long to use the damn website, and then when I got to it, when I finished it, 30 minutes later, I finally get my order right. And it says, sorry, we can't do this. Just show up and order in person. It's like, are you kidding me? So that was terrible. Been doing a lot of Pizza Hut stuff lately because my kids love the Cheesy Bites crust.
Mm-hmm.
And if it weren't for the reorder thing, it just takes too long. It's just terrible. So even, yeah, it's a. Though I find it interesting because Amazon, I think, have you seen the articles, Amazon store, where they just kind of proximity grab and you don't even pay, you just walk out of the store and it figures out between where you are and sensors and other things, and like charges your Amazon account directly. So Amazon's really trying to do what he's talking about, but better than the last order. You walk in the Amazon store and I guess it tells what you grab, and I'm not exactly certain how it syncs up, how it knows what your Amazon account is, but you basically grab what you want and walk out of the store. So if they get that to work, and I saw something recently too, there's some kind of hand checking thing. I forgot what it was. Amazon hand checking thing.
Yeah, I mean, there's some of the stuff that he was talking about. What was in this chapter? That as you get closer to the checkout, your information already put in. Let me see. It's not. Maybe it's the one in chapter 11.
Oh yes. So the new thing, hand scanning. Amazon testing hand scanning payment system for Whole Food stores. That's the difference. That's just about speeding up checkout. but it's in line with not pulling something out of your pocket.
Right.
So, but I think that those Amazon stores where it's a combination of I want to say RFID and cameras, so it can tell what you're grabbing and it puts you in the cart, and then you walk out the door. I'm not certain how it detects you, and then it just charges your account. So, if they get that to work, it sounds really cool.
Well, part of this one was I think mine is still being the wallet. That as you get closer to the cashier, he knows that you're the one checking out,
Mm-hmm.
and the person at the cashier can just say, oh, whatever. You can just say, I'm using wallet, and say, are you so and so? Yes. Press the button, and you never took your phone out or your anything out of your pocket. That's how I imagine like the works. But I don't know. Like he doesn't talk about it.
There's a back pocket app that I love. There's two. Samsung Health automatically tracks your steps as you're walking, which is really nice. Another one is Google Maps. So I do like reviews and I take pictures. So it's really nice is that Google is so invaded, is so invaded in my cell phone that it knows that I've taken pictures at a certain restaurant. They're like, hey, why don't you show these pictures on Google Maps? And I'm like, sure, I'll take those to Google Points. And so that's really nifty that it just tracks what I'm doing. But it's very much where it's just like, oh, I didn't have to go through an interface and say, hey Google, I went to this place and I took these pictures, can I upload them for Google Points? They're like, we'll give you Google Points that are not really redeemable and they're imaginary, but now you have them for.
I think Apple is doing the same thing because I got something similar and it wasn't. I don't think it was Google Maps, but could have been. But the thing that was funny for me, it completely misappropriated what the business was. Right, so I taken a picture of food at a restaurant, and it told me, "Oh, would you like to, this picture? Would you like to?" It was like an orthodontist nearby, I know where the orthodontist is. And I was like, "This like far from where I was. Like it's not even close." But yeah, it was maybe like a block and a half, 2 blocks away. I was like, no, you got the wrong business. I think like that's what like the thing about the other checkout, the other order. I can see a lot of problems with that because it takes. Sometimes I feel like having something different. Sometimes I feel like having less or just do something else, not even for a different reason. So it's a little off.
You could have configuration where it's like, oh, I like doing the same thing over and over again. I like having habit. And then you can be like, no, I'm more of I like exploration. I'm an adventurer.
Right.
You have that side where it's like, why don't you suggest me something that I might like instead?
Correct. All right. So chapter 10, lazy rectangles. So in this chapter, it opens up with when the design process for new technology begins, it often starts great. They ask people, what they want. They do some market research. They look at quantitative insights, using analytics. If anybody knows about customer development, that's a great way of.
Diego, are you presenting something different? Because all we see is a chapter 10 lazy.
Yeah, it's chapter 10.
Right, but all I see is your keynote.
Yeah, that's fine. Because I only have like 3 slides.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't have the whole chapter in slides. All right, so you start like with good intentions, right? and we talked about like analytics, customer development, and pretty much about analytics is like great. Champion the use of customer analytics at 6.5% more likely to retain the customer, 7.4 times more likely to outperform the competitors, making sales to existing customer, and nearly 19 times more likely to achieve above average profitability. Okay, great. Let's take all the data and create a rectangle, guys. Let's go for it. And this is what it talks about, like, is we get all these user story, persona, and scenarios, all the aggregation of all of this data, but then again, as it says, we get a little lazy, right? And we say, oh, let's create a rectangle, let's take some UI, and we do it again and again, no matter who the client is, right? And it makes a little bit of a joke, like up and down, like the designer goes, I pumped out like 32 screen flows today, and we're like, oh yeah, you're the man. And it's like, no, it's not. Pretty much, we're here to solve problems in the most elegant way possible, and like creating like a UI sometimes is not the thing. Like, we cannot go inside equals screen. It's inside equals solution. Most of the time, we just create wireframes or whatever, and we just add the cool feature of the day, which would be like a parallax, parallax hamburger menu, whatever the last trend is, and people create screens like they get paid by the numbers of screen rather than the solution that they come up, right? Like we are coders, we don't get paid by amount of code, but by the actual features that we do. Not even features, but like if you were, it would be features. And generally, unique problems don't have generic answers. So like a lot of the companies that have made serious advancement, and this is my last slide, so I'm gonna have to go just talk and just pay attention. Especially most companies that have done some significant advancement, they went completely different. And when it does that, it talks about if people stay exactly the same and they went outside of their original idea, Apple Computer will not become Apple Inc. that it is today with the iPod and everything else. The Netflix, it would still be mailing DVDs in red envelopes. So whether they add a graphical user interface or not, they try to figure out a better solution to the problem that the customer was having. And it's not, delivering the DVD faster for the Netflix, or have like a Netflix dedicated mailbox at every corner. Then it goes on and talks a little bit about CES, how it started. It started, with like the tech of the future, which was like an $8 radio the size of a pack of cigarettes, which then went on to, it was like 1967 in 85, Nintendo showed the first gaming console, Apple showed the PDA, and on. But then it kind of became everything like with like the screen again came around, and there was a company that made a car. They say out in 2010. Car security company at the booth, they announced their new smartphone app that can pop the trunk. Again, this is one of those things, right? At the time, it was like the best of innovation honors. They received like this award. And but think about like your of the silliness of this. This is very similar to the door, right? You have like your hands full of grocery. You get to your car, and then you put the grocery down. You take out your iPhone, launch the app, do all that, and then the trunk opens up. That is the least useful app I can think of. And and it goes on. Actually, I don't think I can show the. Can I show this? No, I don't think I can. Let me see. Yeah, there you go. This is like an idea of what the wireframe of the app might have looked like. And it says, like, again, we're looking at from the wrong standpoint. And it wasn't until later that, what car company was it? No, it wasn't BMW. You're lying to me. Oh, I don't remember what company it was. Oh, Ford Escape. There you go, Ford. Ford came up with the kick under the, pass your foot under the hood of the car, trunk of the car, and the trunk will, because most likely your hands are going to be full. So using your hands to open the trunk is not useful, but you have at least one foot that you can wave underneath the car. So they put a couple of sensors there, and they solve the problem without, like, in a much better way, without any wireframe or any UI.
How did that pass the ADA?
What?
How did that pass ADA?
ADA?
Yeah, American Disabilities.
Oh, well, it depends. If you're on a wheelchair, then maybe you still be able to do something.
The way their hands.
Maybe. And pretty much, there was no interface to learn, and 47% of the Escape owners purchased this optional feature. That is a lot. That's half of the people that bought the car bought this option. But yet again, like, people still go towards screens like Tesla. They mentioned, like, you started with a blank slate, a 17-inch of glass, which is the centerpiece of the interior. And the other, well, you really don't want this much distraction inside your car. You want people to look at the street and not at the gigantic screen. So for the author, like, there is a setback. Especially because it's in the middle to the right. It's like really away from where your eyes should be. And what are you saying?
Go ahead. I'll let you finish your thought before I interrupt.
Was going to go with the cooler car? Should we stop?
We can probably go till another 7 minutes, but I was just thinking, because this book predates Alexa and all the, or at least the explosion of voice stuff. Like, a lot of the voice, when it works, it's way better.
Right.
And no interface. Of course, when it doesn't work, it's terrible.
Oh my God.
But when
I
it works, it's great.
was listening to something that was talking about a thermostat with Alexa, right? And how it compares to Nest. And I have two Alexas in the house, and they were going berserk. Because I have one, the call name is Alexa, and the other is Amazon. And the guy kept saying, and Amazon did this, and Alexa did it, and Alexa, they were responding and talking, and like one of the Alexa was talking about what Alexa is, and the other one was talking what Amazon is, and give information. I have to keep repeating that. Amazon stop, Alexa stop, Amazon stop, Alexa stop.
Yeah.
It was like so painful.
When it works, but it addresses a lot of his issues. If you can get it to understand your commands, that's good. So I was thinking about your car deal. If you had an Alexa car who could recognize you as the rightful owner, you could walk over and say, Alexa, open the trunk. Because I think about the handiness, lights, fan, turn on TV, turn off TV, volume, blah blah blah. So basically, where we want to go is this AI stuff.
Right.
Yeah, but I think like everybody had the keyless entry. It's a thing, right? Like my car,
Yeah,
all
that
that-
works. I mean, a lot of cars have the proximity sensor.
right? So that works fantastic. I'm actually surprised my car does not have the kick feature underneath the trunk, but it does have like a button on your thing that you click on it and it opens the trunk, and it actually lowers it as well. There's a lot of things. I think like maybe the voice commands are not always the best.
Yeah, I think in that case, because I also have a car with the trunk thing. If your key fob could answer, if you could tell your key fob to open the trunk, then you wouldn't have to take the key out of your pants.
Yeah, I agree.
You
That's
know what I'm
why
saying? But you want the key to only recognize you because you don't want random people opening your trunk.
I think the kick is a good interface for that.
Yeah.
But again, the car knows where I'm standing, in front of which door I'm standing.
Mm-hmm.
I think by standing there and saying a verbal command, that might work. By standing and doing the kick, or standing or waving, should do it. But like, for example, I have a Subaru Outback. There's an actual button that you have to press gently. It's very gentle, but you still, like when my hands are full, I still have to put everything down.
Yeah.
Plus, with everything electronic, I found like a bunch of different funky stuff about the trunk. One of which is when I stop the car, if somebody, in order to open the trunk, I need to open my door, like put in park, open my door, and press the button. If the passenger person opened the door before me or anybody else, the button doesn't work anymore. I have to close all the doors, reopen mine. I mean, there's a whole sequence like to make it so that I can open the door with a button, and whether there's a button on the windshield. But that's just bad programming. But there's a few things that like you cannot lock the car while the engine is on, even if you have the keys to wheel.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot capacity myself. Why would they do this? Like there should be a way to do it. Huh?
So that people can rob you. When you're driving through that part of town, you don't want to lock your doors.
Right.
Everyone's welcome in your car.
Or you can turn off the engine, get out, lock the car, and then turn on with the remote starter. You can do that, and then as soon as you open the door, the engine shuts off, and then you have to turn it back on. Which is why. I mean, I think a lot of the experience again, they can all be cleaned up.
Yeah.
But I think in general, a lot of them are going in the right direction. But I don't think the solution are obvious.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think security makes some of those issues hard.
Yes.
Back to the NSA thing, talking about paper. The NSA would be a lot happier if they kept paper because it's a lot harder to steal and disseminate. We always talk about like, oh yeah, so and so lost 50,000 social security numbers and now they're all over the internet. It's like if those were paper, it's way harder. You could Xerox those things. But
Right.
I think about like this. like your foot kick thing, you could be standing near your trunk and a cat runs under your car and it triggers the trunk thing.
Yeah, possible.
So there's always a security issue. When I think about auto locking, it's like I kind of don't ever want to do any kind of hackable system with keys and locks.
Oh, speaking of Alexa and doors,
Mm-hmm.
like because it's, the default is not this with Alexa and the other one, Google Home.
Mm-hmm.
The default is not to have a PIN code that you have to say. Meaning, you get to the door and you say, Google, open the front door, and the door opens up. But you don't have to actually verbally say passcode or PIN code, like, 1, 2, 3, 4. Like, what's the passcode? 1, 2, 3, 4, and then it opens.
Right, but that's actually pretty bad. Anyone can hear your passcode. That's a very unsafe.
Right, and that one is bad as well. And a lot of people, but they don't even set the PIN code, so they just like walk to the door and you can say, Alexa, open the door, or Google, open the door, and the door opens.
Yeah. No, that's just like don't do that.
So like what I'm actually like looking for, like I have no problem having a keypad in front of my door.
Yeah.
That I can also use an app or I can also do other things, but I just want a keypad because I don't want to bring my phone with me in order to open the door, especially if my phone dies. Does that mean I can open the door?
Yeah, or if your internet's down.
My internet is down.
Yeah.
There's no electricity.
I'm stuck.
I cannot open the door.
Yeah. The Cox is down. We can't get in the house.
Yeah, like all of this stuff, it to me is like, no, that doesn't work for me at all. But the solution that do work like that, again, not cheap. Those few like models that actually work and they do it right is they're like $250.
Yeah,
and there's no reason for it.
Yeah, I think certain things like, you don't want the cheap answer.
Right. All right. 2 o'clock.
All right, we'll wrap it up. Did you want to say anything more next time, or we just pick the next reader?
There's actually quite a bit more to this chapter.
We'll pick up with 10 and then do a new thing. Anyway.
Yeah. So the next principle 2 is actually quite beefy. So if I think like whoever gets it, that's all it does. 11, 12, 13.
Mm-hmm.
And who's gonna go for it?
Who wants it?
Who's gonna pick up after me?
All
right, Brett.
I'll take it.
All right.
Did you say 3?
Yeah, do the 3 so you can cover the whole principle 2.
Okay.
All right, then Brett's on. Cool. Well, thank you for coming. Enjoy your day, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.
By the way, I picked this style because it was like paperless. We started with paper.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought that was ironic. Oh, and Sam had shared some link about auto thingy on that. Which is speaking about bad interfaces, like the Google Hangout thing always changes to me. So I saw the little bubble come up where he shared the link, but I can't easily figure out how to find my chat.
Yeah, the chat is awful. You have to do the top right corner and then the menu, look down chat. But that's a really good talk about vulnerabilities of modern cars with computers and internet and all that sort of stuff. It's a really fun talk.
If I can find the darn chat thing, which I clicked,
I'll put it in our chat. I'll put it in our...
and then I'll share that on the YouTube thing.
Oh, okay. I saw that thing about Sam. You posted a link, and I was like, where did that come from?
Where did it go? Show message. There you go. Sorry, show messages. Here it is.
Yeah, Google Hangout is an awful interface.
Well, and there's multiple versions, but now that Google, if they're listening, now that they've killed off their various Hangouts as, like the different apps seem to have different versions of Hangout.
Yep.
This is the one from the calendar, and I know the live stream Hangout is gone, which by the way. Apologies for anyone seeing this going, your playbacks were better before. They were. This is now our home rolled streaming. All right, well, thank you, sir. I'm going to stop streaming.